belt him in exactly the direction they want. Because he's sitting in their bus. He is not rebelling. He is not living authentically. So now he has become a pawn that they can do anything they want with. You see?
And he wants that. Then.
And he wants it. He has literally signed on as their child.
So it's this step here that kind of takes us or those who don't choose then to climb the mountain, as it were, to go towards this direction of the, as you call the technotopia, meaning that we're going to have the cyborg now. We're going to have all the genetic human genome combinations, the chimeras and the splicing, and potentially that this might lead us into some new areas, basically.
Well, Werner Vinge, he was a San Diego University professor of computer science. In 1993, he said, a quote that's very similar to the one that you started the program with from Steve Quayle. Vinge says that we are on the edge of change comparable to the rise of human life on Earth. Within 30 years, we will have the technological means to create superhuman intelligence. Shortly after that, the human era will end. That's exactly what my thrust of 2012 is about. It's not about ascending to some higher spiritual plane, and all of this other junk that you hear. It's about facing facts and realizing that, look, this is not just something in the last 10 years or 13 years. This has been a movement from the time of Francis Bacon and probably before that. We've got very sick, unsane unsane alien forces ruling this world. And they've been steering us, into whichever direction they feel we need to go. It's just that we have now more perks. You can travel to this hell first class. That's all the difference. They can take you to purgatory. They can take you right down into, the abyss of destruction. But believe me, you're going to go first class. We got television. We got video games. We got, we can turn you on. You'll have a headset. You'll enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
It's that restaurant at the end of the universe, Douglas Adams' Perfect Nightmare, where you pay $1 million to watch the Big Bang at the end of the world. Didn't somebody say, it was a brilliant quote that, I think I have it somewhere. It was, it was from Jerry Mander, the guy who wrote the 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television. He's a great writer. He said, mankind's self-alienation has reached such a degree that it can experience its own destruction as an aesthetic pleasure of the first order. When I look around, that's what I see.
Yeah.
That, people have become so jaded now, the drugs aren't doing it. So we're in this Jim Morrison sort of, the end, the song The End,
Yeah.
All the children are insane, We're in a situation, and he predicted, he already saw it coming, that man has become so desensitized now that his own destruction, either through drugs or through some other bizarre means, that's his new high. He's itching for it. He wants to buy a ticket. Because why? He's given up being human. But nobody can stop you being human. I mean, they will try. We're not saying that there's not an overt action. There is. But that has no power unless in some way you want it to happen. Nobody can take your soul. You have to give it away. And so this is what I think is happening.
Wow. So that's the strive for the destruction or even Armageddon in that way that man is gonna. Well, even we can compare this to the movies that are out there. We can. I mean, one that come to mind right away, of course, is the Matrix, of course, obviously, and again, man becoming part of the machine, the symbiotic relationship, but then in a way also. Moving away from that and actually ending up in a clash with the machines. Again, we have the almost end of the world type wars that is going on between man and machine. There's so many parallels there. Exactly, because there's always a love-hate relationship. What we're dealing with here is the mechanicalness that man projects a reality, a mechanistic reality, and then becomes the slave of his own creation. Again, this is the downside of going down the wrong way in society. I already see man being mechanized within his own being. To me, a world full of machines is neither here nor there. Man himself is becoming mechanical. See, I'm coming from the school of Wilhelm Reich, who talked about body armoring, you see, and the whole tension of the body. And I've talked before about even the certain so-called health exercises that people do, their general body language, the foods that they eat. The mechanization, the clothes that they wear, the suit and tie, there's a lot of areas that go into this, the phallic skyscrapers. It's a whole subject in itself of this armoring, which is another way of tensing the body, if you want to get into the bioenergetics of it, because, again, you don't want to feel pain.
What happens if I jab you right now with a needle? Don't you tighten up?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I would if somebody did it to me, And somebody gives you a whack, or you're playing soccer and, you get whacked. Your whole body tightens up. Well, most people are living in that kind of tightness all day long, even without being hit.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is that subliminally they are being hit. They're being hit by all kinds of stresses that you see and so on. But you are in control of your own stress. It's attitude that stops stress.
That's
it's not
right.
getting massages or going, oh my goodness. No, those are nice and pleasant if you can have it. But ultimately, you de-stress yourself by your thinking about life. Think that you're a person who thinks that there are problems in life. If you are a person who believes that there's such a thing as a problem, then you're in stress. Or how you deal with life or how you deal with upsets. So it's all a conscious thing.
Yeah, and even the idea of that you might be putting it off. I just have to finish this one, and then I can relax, or I got to do that before I can, But you don't deal with it in the moment and feel like, okay, whatever pressure I have on me right now, the most important thing for me is to just relax, and deal with that stress, and
The most important thing is to notice that you have the stress and to not be self-sadistic about yourself having the stress. See, what happens is people notice that they're stressed and then get really self-sadistic on top of that, going, I shouldn't be stressed. Or they again recriminate with themselves. If you're feeling the stress, it's perfectly natural. Feel it and then end it. Just go, oh my goodness, look, I feel stress right now. I'm not in my center. Hang on a minute. Let me look at this from another perspective. You go real easy on yourself. Because life is not easy on you, and neither are other people. The biggest problem that you have in life is other people around you. Giving you, all the wrong messages and the wrong, and just not really hearing you and all of the rest of it. So our human relationships are very complex. And mostly of a negative variety. So it's up to you then, to change your attitude so that people don't have this power to violate your sovereignty.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But see, again, it's very important for people to realize that it's a sugar coating. You're taken to this, technotronic hell. But as I said, there's a tendency that they're going to sort of sell you a first-class ticket. Oh, great, we're going to live forever. We're going to stop aging. Oh, my goodness, it's going to be so, what's the new machine, on the block? What's the new gadget? How are we going to, cure cancer or some other stuff that they, will sell you? And it's exactly, it was Voltaire said that the ancient Romans built their great masterpieces of architecture, for wild beasts to fight in.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can have the perfect, trappings. You can have the most labor-saving devices. You can have, this beautiful California, Californication world in which everything's laid at the fingertips and the smile is on your face from morning to night. This sterile, psychopathic effervescence that everything's just so positive and wonderful, because you've been anesthetized. You've literally, it's like I've said it many times before, it's not that you're facing reality, you've edited reality. You're living in an idea of reality. And then that's why you can have this one season, world that you're living in. But so you can have all the trappings, but if there's no soul, if there's no real feeling back of it, then you have nothing. And then it will crumble, or then it can be overtaken by, those people who want to lead that anti-civilization wherever they want to leave it. So when I'm talking about 2012, it's not about some prediction, some mystical, I can see the future. It's got nothing to do with prediction at all. It's got to do with diagnosing how was a thing started, how was it built. If you put a house that's on the sand, you don't need to predict that one day it's going to fall. It's it's not really a prediction, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
If you put your food that's for 2 minutes in the microwave, but you keep it in for half an hour, it's inedible. There's no predicting necessary. It's just a simple fact of looking at how a thing is built. Well, if you see a civilization that was founded wrongly, incorrectly, if it's been misguided from day one, it's certainly not going to end up in a utopia, no matter how you philosophize about it. It's just simply not going to happen. So what will it end up in? You may not know utopia, but you may know a technotopia. You may know an artificial world that's being created, and we know that is exactly what is happening.
That's right. And even again, looking at 2012, with all the talk of the singularity, artificial life within 3 to 10 years. There again, there's so many examples. turning into cyborgs or whatever. So this is kind of, in a way, on the timeline, in a way, that this is potentially what could be coming within, these years leading up to 2012, and especially if we talk about the singularity, which in itself, of course, is that it might, the idea is that the rate of progress will develop so much so that we will, in the end, not be able to, predict where we might be heading. I mean, so that is end of history right there, or end of time in a way almost.
Yes, that's right. Those people who end up knowing so much about so little. We can't even store the information. And we end up knowing lots and lots about less and less and less until, that's it.
Yeah.
We know a lot about nothing.
That's right.
Science has its own problems, yes. But you see, that's again because it started off on the wrong foot. There's not a scientist in this world who has a healthy mind.
Did it start off on the wrong foot?
Of course
with
it
the
did.
Sciences?
Materialistic, positivism, the idea that there is no greater spirit, there's no implicate order. Well, let me put it this way. Find me a scientist who does not think that everything that he's studying is a problem. Right there, that is a problem.
I see what you mean. Yeah, sure.
Aging is a problem. Therefore, give us billions of dollars to fix it genetically.
I guess I kind of look at it on the more like the alchemical way, like the spiritual science that feels that this was a component from the start.
We're not talking anything about that. I
mean,
because remember that involves personal spiritual development.
That's right. Yeah.
The true alchemist is not some guy in a white coat who just walks into a lab, to torture animals. With $1 billion budget.
Yeah.
This is an individual who works deeply on their own being. They know what the real science is. No, the characters we've got today are, again, very, very toxic, unsane people who look at life, climate, oh my God, it's a problem, look what's happening. Oh, aging, that's a problem. Oh, sickness and disease, that's a problem. Everything's a problem. Well, if you look at something as a problem and then want billions of dollars to fix it, you're never going to fix it. You're already in a totally ludicrous situation. This is what has led us down one cul-de-sac after another of people who don't know that man is already a perfect being. There is no problems except that they manufacture it. And by seducing you into the idea that, life's a bitch, man, there's so many problems we need to fix, these then people, just like politicians, as deadly as politicians, can lead you down the garden path. These are people who believe in hierarchy, not holarchy. They look at everything as a problem that needs to be fixed, as if this mechanical... nature is a problem that needs to be fixed. Your life, your aging, you see. So what they've basically succeeded in doing is dividing you from your body. They make your body, your DNA, seem a very mechanical thing. And they've slowly through their drip feeding of these fancy terms and these talismanic words, even the way they depict DNA physically as this sort of Lego set and all of this, even in their graphics and certainly in their subtle words. They're changing your relationship to your body. They're colonizing your mind. They're giving you a very demonic, I believe, understanding of your body. As this almost like a car engine in which you go, well, this is the part that doesn't work, let's extract it. Or let's get into there with a spanner and twist your DNA, and fix this and add this and take that away, and you'll be okay. We'll fix all your problems. Not once do they ever mention the word conscience. That consciousness is what DNA is. DNA is a vibration. It's a crystalline expression, or in a mathematical expression of consciousness. Well, these guys are at war with your consciousness, so they're never going to bring up the question of consciousness. They're at war and they're using words, and they're using science, and they're using their pseudoscience and their terms to get under your skin, to change your relationship with your own being, so that you're more likely to be in an inner state of total Armageddon, so that they can walk in and go, well, we'll fix you. We've got the cure. And do you know how many millions of people are now falling for this?
And exactly, we can tie this back to, let's say, Bruce Lipton, who talks about the idea that, again, consciousness has an effect on DNA, meaning that they actually can change your DNA with words, with symbols, with
with light.
With light, sure, yeah.
Well, let's not even get into the whole photonic thing and connecting to my work on atomism and the whole culture of the superlit world we're living in. Isn't it not true that half of these companies that are dealing in this Frankensteinian thing have names like Illumina and Solex and Sol this and Sol that, and throwing light at you and their names, Illumina?
Yeah.
Okay, what
genomics firm right there. Yeah, exactly. There's so much of these companies around.